while we're waiting for people?
I got nothing. I'm actually good.
Okay.
No.
I saw that all groups turned in assignment 3, so I have that on my calendar to grade in the morning. I have not graded them, but I did see they all came in. 4 is the same, organized exactly the same with the theoretical piece, the how-to, and the breakdown of who does what. I think the challenge to those assignments maybe has been making it a little more complicated than I really intended them to be. So for assignment number 4, you do not have to do something with every variable. So don't try to make it harder than it is. Just kind of answer the questions. That's all you have to do. And any questions about the paper?
I didn't look. Is there a page-ish requirement or no?
Yeah, should aim for 15 pages plus your title page and your references. And I think I have that pulled up here. If you want to take a look at those. So APA 15 page plus your title page doesn't count in that, and your references don't count. And this one's a formal paper, so really pay attention to the APA format. Unlike these analysis assignments, it matters. And then I think the other thing that we've talked about in these virtual meetings before, but I want to just point out one more time, the method section is half of the points of this paper. So really pay attention that you answer A through D and give it all good attention.
So when we met as a group to talk about our data analysis assignment, some of the team had questions about this because of the methods are really focused more on the PhD perspective. Like we won't be doing a lot of data management and analysis, will we?
No. So yours will be project, not research. So it'll be a QI project and the appropriate procedures and design for that. And your data management and analysis is going to be simple descriptives maybe over time. And they refer to that as run charts. So don't make it more complicated than what you really need to be doing here. And it might, for your projects, you guys just might be looking at descriptives over time. You may do something, do baseline descriptives, do something, run the descriptives again, do something, run the descriptives again, depending on the design that you and your mentor, advisor decide on. That's typically what they will do. But you don't have to, I mean, it can just be descriptive statistics.
Okay. And we don't need to give you for this variable, I will run a run chart. For this variable, I will do this.
Well, you do need to say what you're going to collect and how you're going to collect it and over what time you're going to collect it. And I realize you guys may not be that, I mean, for both groups of students, this isn't your final project or your final dissertation proposal. This is just where you're at today in your thinking, and it has to make sense based on what you've learned in this course. But you absolutely are going to refine it and fine tune it as you move forward toward the project or the dissertation. And for the protection of human subjects, for the doctoral student, for the PhD students, that's going to involve consent, assent if kids are involved in IRB. For the DMP students, you do not have to do IRB, but you have to describe the process at your institution for getting permission to do the quality improvement project. So the process at the college is through what we call the Bridge Committee, but there is a process for looking at the data to do quality improvement at most of your institutions where you're going to be doing the work. So you're going to have to find out what that is and describe that. So the protection of human subjects section is going to look different, but unless your organization requires it, there's usually no consent or assent if kids are involved and no IRB. It's just the process of saying, yes, this quality improvement project has been approved. But you're absolutely right. These are going to look different. And I know it's a work in process for both groups.
So my PDSA, Bonnie, is setting up the project, really, as opposed to the PDS. The whole project is a PDSA, but I don't want to have variability in once we go live with the tools that we're creating, and the tool part is the PDSA. Is that a problem?
I'm not sure I understand enough about that, but if you've worked closely with Peggy on what you're going to do, I'm sure it's fine.
Okay.
Because she's a very good mentor and she'll steer you the right direction. So, Allison, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry?
Were you saying something?
No, I was on mute.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying something and we couldn't hear you.
No, I was listening.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Are there other questions?
So, Bonnie, when I turned in my proposal, I had kind of fleshed out a lot of stuff already. And so can we be confident that, like in my methods, you said, this is really good, this is on target, that, I'm kind of where I need to be with that, or?
No, I'm trying to trick you. I said it was
okay, good. Perfect. I like
a
tricks.
lot of points off and tell you it's totally off target.
Okay,
of course.
excellent.
Yeah,
You have it in for me. I knew it.
Yeah. No, honestly, that was the point of doing those outlines, is so if you were off target, I could say, back up. But yeah, the parts that I commented you needed more or a different direction or whatever, I would try to fill in those gaps, and the part that's right on track, just go with it.
Okay. And then the only other question, and if this is too lengthy, I can just ask you at another time, but I'm transitioning from one site to another. And so I had already done all the IRB paperwork, and how the previous facility did it was they wanted to do, if it's a quality project, you still put it through the IRB, but a different group of people look at it, and you're basically assuring them that it is quality and not study subject. So right. At this point, since this is where we're at, is okay if I leave in the part that I'd already completed for the other site, since I'm transitioning, it would be?
That's fine.
Okay.
As long as you describe what the process is. And like I said, as you refine and switch things around, it may change, but as long as you explored and describe, but what you just said is typically the process. You submit it, somebody says, yes, this is quality improvement. You don't have to have a formal IRB approval. We just say you're exempt and you move on.
Okay.
And Bonnie, for mine, with the method section, with a good amount of my QI projects surrounding immediately pre and post, and then about 66 days post surveys of staff after an educational program, would a good part of that method be the Likert scale that we're using and tools to assess reliability for that and
Yeah.
different
So
things.
you can describe that instrument, you can describe the process, the timeline, it's sometimes referred to as the procedure for data collection. Absolutely, that is exactly what goes into your methods. And then if
Okay.
there's any kind of training or education or anything in there, that can be described as the intervention. And then if you're going to look at those 3 measures over time, you can again say just descriptives if you're just going to be doing kind of the run chart approach, or
Mhm.
and I can't remember who are you working with Peggy as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do whatever she tells you to do, but sometimes the work you guys are doing, you can actually run ANOVA and look at whether or not there are statistically significant differences. Not that you need that, because for quality improvement, you just need to see trends going in the right direction. But do whatever Peggy tells you to do.
Okay.
Because I always think of it, you know, sort of analyze at the highest level you can.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't
Mhm.
make sense to her, don't do it.
Okay.
Peggy is my advisor, and that's what she told me, to still, you know, run it to the highest degree that you can, to also speak to the validity and reliability of the tools that you choose if that's been tested. And that's kind of part of using a lot of data and even statistical analysis, is if it's really proven, then that, you know, gets you better into the quality kind of sector.
Yeah, and in my experience, you know, I've published a couple of things in quality improvement journals, and I think it's a little easier to get published if you actually do a higher level of analysis.
Mhm.
But it's not required at all for you to have a successful project. And I have seen publications that, you know, just do the run charts. So, and I'm working with some nurses at Children's right now that they have a small sample size, that's all they can do. And I'm going to work with them until we get it published. So, whatever Peggy tells you to do, I think will work out fine.
Yeah, I'm sure for the evidence-based practice piece and for actually, you know, impacting patients, it's best if we can present that data at the highest level of reliability and validity testing. But it's good to hear also that it's not 100% necessary.
Yeah, you have to do what makes sense, you know, and if you just have a small sample size, or you're just getting a trend in the right direction, that's still good news to your organization, that you recognize a problem, you do something about it, and it's going in the right direction. That means you were successful. So we can look at however you propose to analyze it will be fine. Other questions about any of this?
I haven't looked in my APA manual. I still am a nerd and like to look at the book. So is there an APA proposal outline that you'd like us to use that has the subheadings?
You can use the APA format, and it gives you a little bit of flexibility on setting up those headings and subheadings. I am definitely not rigid about which one you pick. You just have to be consistent. So,
Is there one that you prefer, or one that makes things easier for you?
No, you can.
Okay.
And quite honestly, I shouldn't say that. If you give me headings for the things in the rubric, it makes it much easier to grade.
Okay.
But other than that, no.
And then we're still good to go as far as QI with the Squire guidelines, as far as the things that we look at. Okay.
Absolutely. That's the right way to do it.
Okay.
Of course, you're not going to have findings. You're not going to have results or findings or discussion or conclusions. That's not part of a proposal. That stuff will all come later after you've done the project, but that's not where we're at. So that's why it ends here with methods. You're going to tell me what you propose to do.
So in the context of the Squire,
Mhm.
well, no pun intended, they actually don't have methods at all in their outline. They have context. Then they have intervention.
Mhm.
So I'm happy to use either, whichever you prefer. I mean, I can use these subheadings, but they're not what Squires are. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, I think under your, let's see if I can pull those up quickly from the module. And so we can talk about the, I believe it was in this week. Hmm. Well, clearly I'm not getting there very fast.
Are you looking for the link?
Yeah, it's in one of these.
It's in the second module. I know that much. I don't.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, but I'm not getting there very quick. Let's see if I go back there. I'm in the second week, but I clicked too soon. Consort guidelines for evaluating research. I don't know how I missed it, but are those them? Nope. That's not it either. Wow, why am I so? This is just for those of you who said you had trouble finding it, right? Back in the beginning. Now I'm understanding your pain, where we're at here. Uh,
Resources for critiques, was that it? Or did you already look at that one? No, that wouldn't be it. Yeah.
It sounds like the right thing. Maybe that is it. Let's see. Yeah. Whew. I shouldn't make it hard for us to get there, but let's see. Okay. So title, abstract, problem description, available knowledge, that's kind of your background, your rationale, your specific aims, and here's your methods. So you're going to have the methods. You're going to talk about the context is important for what happens in your particular setting, but then it has the intervention, and then the study of the intervention is your approach.
Yeah.
So, and then it's got your measures. So the pieces we need are here, and then the analysis and the ethical considerations. Now you're not going to go to results, but this is absolutely fine.
Perfect.
And it's got the components.
Do you want, if you want to scroll down a little bit, Bonnie?
Mm-hmm.
So under results, I think past results, we have discussion, which is a summary.
Nope.
And a little bit further down.
None of that.
Do you want any form of like just general conclusion?
No. because you don't know what you're going to find yet. So you stop right here, just like the rubric.
Oh,
Um,
and no funding? We don't need to put funding in there either?
no, because, well, if you have funding, you certainly can acknowledge it if you have funding up front, but I wouldn't think you're that far along.
Yeah, no, I'm not. So,
So
okay.
you are done right here at 12. And these really correspond. If you can't see how the things correspond with the rubric, shoot me an email. But
Well,
you
I
do
can't-
have
yeah.
methods.
Great. Thank you for walking through that.
Yeah, I'm sorry it took so long to find it, but absolutely. It'll set it up so that it's useful for you to turn into your project if possible. I would
Great.
like this to be useful work that you can carry forward and not just be doing it for an assignment, but actually lay the foundation for your actual project if you can. Are there other questions? I'm going to save this in a file that I can find it quicker. Okay. Other thoughts as you're working? Lisa, did you have the questions? I'm trying to remember now, back to the outlines. Questions around the theory part? Or you're all good there? I guess your theories can be just quality improvement sort of theories, or you can have a theory specific to whatever intervention. And it totally doesn't matter to me.
Great.
And that's not really in here, but it fits really in this rationale with the theories used to explain the problem and the assumptions. It's in this section. Any other questions you want to ask at this point? Anybody have a wicked drive ahead of them?
No posting at my house, just a few people, so it's really nice.
Good.
I'm going east of the mountains, so I've got to get over a mountain pass.
Oh,
Just
careful.
Thank
snowing
you.
crazy here today and tomorrow, so
Oh,
want people to get out and get home if they need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just need to get to the grocery store.
Food for the table. I do have questions about our assignment number 4.
All right.
When and if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. I wanted to ask you just a couple broad questions about it. When we download from SPSS, because you've got a page limit on this assignment,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some things that I think will minimize the content. So those are obvious things to me. But in general, there's a lot more content than pages that you want.
You don't have to submit the entire printout. You can do a screenshot of the table from the SPSS printout that answers the question if you want to, or you can answer the question in a couple pages and attach the whole printout. What some students have done is highlight area and then put question 1.
Got it. Okay, so you don't need the whole print. I mean, I had
don't
deleted
need it, but I don't. If it's too hard to do screenshots and just pluck out, I'll take it either way.
Okay.
I'll take it either way, as long as you have answered the question and show me where in the printout you got that, we're good.
Okay. And then I have a question about the omnibus versus the R versus the Hosmer-Lenschow.
Mhm.
So I understand that the null for the Hosmer-Lenschow is the null is there is no fit. So a P of less than 0.05 means there is a P of greater than 0.05 means goodness of fit.
Yeah, so this module is set up just like the other ones, where there's the learning guide that goes over the theory, and it walks you real carefully through exactly how to interpret. And then there is the how-to guide, which has the screenshots of which how you're going to do the analysis. And then you have a practice data set if you want to do it, and then you have the regular. So as you're looking at this, goes through the theory,
Yep, it's on page 6.
and yes, you have to keep, and it's kind of confusing because there's a lot of double negatives, and where you want, it's not like everything should be less than 0.05. And that
Right.
it's a little confusing.
So the omnibus, you don't want it to be 0.05. The Hosmer-Lenschow, you do want it to be less than 0.05. My question is what if the Hosmer-Lenschow shows you a goodness of fit, which is a p-value greater than 0.05, but your -2 log likelihood does not demonstrate goodness of fit? The two responses conflict.
I don't think you should, I don't think you should end up with contradictory findings. If you've entered the variables in the model, I don't think you should have contradictory findings.
Yeah, when I reviewed those two, and what I remember from previous work is there's like no actual way that could happen, right?
That's what I would have thought, but if we take our variables and we run it in the way that it should be run, the numbers that I get for the -2 log likelihood, knowing that a goodness of fit is less than 100.
Now, make sure that you're using the tables to help you interpret what the p-value is. So the tables in the back of your textbook are going to help you with some of the interpretation. So,
So we wouldn't use the R statistic, and we wouldn't use the significance.
you use, let's see if I can find the spot where he really describes some of that for you. Is in the how-to document. So, calculate.
That's ANOVA. I don't want ANOVA. No, that's not what I want.
So as you get down to this part, it really walks you through the interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get farther down, sets up the dummy codes, tells you what the data mean. This is interpreting whether the model is a good predictor or not. And then let's see, can I go down further? Then you're going to do the block. And then you're going to do the stepwise. And here is your -2 log statistic. And this is the description of your interpreting the goodness of fit for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's your Hosmer and Lemschau.
But look at that Hosmer-Lemschau.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 0.016, which means there's statistical significance there. So we don't want statistical significance if we want goodness of fit. Now, if you scroll up and you look at what we have for our -2 log likelihood, you do have goodness of fit.
No, this is the -2 is a badness of fit, so you want it to be small. And so this one says less than 100 is a good fit.
Yeah. So you got goodness of fit here, but on your Hosmer-Schlemmer, you've got, or whatever it is, sorry, Lemschau, you don't have goodness of fit. So I'm either misinterpreting it, which is highly possible, highly likely, or the two don't, I must be misinterpreting it.
So this,
Yeah, because I see what you're saying in the directives for the one above.
this is talking about not a perfect fit, and that it shows the non-significance to show a good fit based on the negative log being small. So this result potentially contradicts the omnibus chi-square results from above, and means that we might not want to look at the additional predictors or remove some of the predictors
Okay.
to see if we can improve the model. So because these two are contradictory, that means you haven't got the perfect fit yet. You haven't got the perfect model. And that's why you then go on and do the stepwise.
Okay. So so that is true that you can have your Hosmer-Lemschau contradict your -2 log likelihood.
Yeah.
And when they do, it means you haven't got the right model fit and you have to go on and do more analysis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I just was like, well, they contradict each other and I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah. So then I think they walk you through it down here then, the stepwise and entering the variables one at a time. And then this last part, you actually can say that you want to do the forward conditional, and instead of entering your own, it will just do it for you in a stepwise fashion. And then again, it goes through the goodness of fit for you. And then what we're going to ask you to do at the, as you look at this next test, there's now a non-significant, which means you've improved the model from before.
Can you go up again for 1 second? So that's a non-significant test, but your and your -2 log likelihood shows goodness of fit. So now they correlate.
Right.
Okay.
So now your model, they're saying, is better because you've got synergy between these two tests.
Okay, that's really helpful.
And then the interpretation is important here too. So you've got 75% accuracy with just the single best predictor compared to 68 with no predictors and 79 when you included all of them. So this is how this number is how you say that the variables in your model account for the findings. So it again is another way of saying the goodness of fit of the model.
Okay.
And then this one gives you the beta weights. And in that particular assignment, it says create an equation, but in reality, the computer creates the equation. All I need is for the PhD student on your team to run the analysis. You don't have to do any math. Just do the analysis and give me the printout. So if that, don't be confused by that. And let's see if there's anything else there. Other questions on that?
So when you say equation, are you talking beta 1, beta 2?
It's like this is an equation here, but the computer does all that. It's all in SPSS.
Okay.
So what
But you want to physically see the equation?
no, I want to see the analysis here.
Yeah, output. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see the printout and that you've come up with the right numbers.
Great.
So then, just sort of like this one does, circle the answer and say, or like I said, if you want to screenshot and then give the explanation and just number 1, 2, 3, 4 and answer the questions. You don't have to make it too complicated. And you absolutely will not need to use all the variables. So don't get freaked out about that either. Just kind of follow through what this step by step what this says to do.
Thank you. That's a huge help.
In reality, you guys just have to interpret. You don't have to actually do the analysis. Because I don't think this is ever going to be an expectation for a DMP. I think you always consult with, somebody, either a statistician in your organization or you have PhD DMP teams eventually. Because I believe in that, but that's my bias. Other questions? Those are the last 2 assignments. So believe it or not, you're almost done.
Yay.
On to the next, right? What's next semester?
I have an education class in my doctorate classes. Project
classes.
Mm-hmm.
Project classes.
And the baby for you.
Yeah, no baby for me, thank goodness.
Yeah.
A
Exciting.
baby boy in February.
Cheers.
That's when my daughter's getting married, so I'm marrying a kid off and you're having one.
Oh,
That's awesome. It'll be a happy time for your family for sure.
how are you feeling, Allison?
Feeling great. Just hit trimester 3 and right at the beginning of 7 months and starting to feel that sciatica though, or the round ligament pain that people talk about. And when I stand up, I really have to take my time before I take my first few steps. So hard to find a comfortable spot, but it's really been a great journey so far, so I can't complain.
Good.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Right. Well, if you have other questions, we're talking tomorrow, right, Allison? Because I got mixed up
We
last.
are, but I was just going to email you that I feel like most of all my questions were answered, and we've got it pretty good covered. And I've been leaning to Lisa and Rachel as well for some of their expertise, and was going to reach out to them for a few ideas. So I think we're okay, and we can give you the gift of time. I know you're really busy.
Yeah, I have it blocked, so you let me know. I have
Okay, all righty.
it saved for you. So,
Thank you.
yeah, no worries at all. Okay, ladies, let me know if you need anything.
Thank you. Thanks for answering the questions. It's really helpful.
Yeah.
Of course. My pleasure.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone and stay
Yeah.
warm and safe.
Yeah, everybody
As well.
safe and happy Thanksgiving. Sign off.